Hi, and welcome back to Better. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. Did you know that 70% of professional black females are single? That is a lot of single black women out there looking for love. I have two guests with me today, and we're going to talk just about that. But before we start it, let them introduce themselves to you. You are?
Hi, I'm Wanda Nolan.
And
And I am Des Gerald. But my full name is Desreen.
Desiree.
Desreen, but everyone calls me Des.
Des.
Yes.
So, why do you all think so many professional women are single today?
I don't know, it's a lot of guys available,
Uh-huh.
but the choices sometimes with some, people try to use the statistics that the guys are in jail or homosexual or not available. But I'm just very picky
Uh-huh.
about who I want to be in a relationship with. So it could be just because I'm picky. I don't know.
So, Des, why do you think that's the statistics is so high?
Hmm. I guess there's a lot of factors. A person might not be where they need to be,
Uh-huh.
um, as far as their esteem,
Uh-huh.
and really getting out there and be able to present the best them that they can present and
Uh-huh.
get the right person.
Uh-huh.
Um, Me myself, I'm very busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a workaholic,
Uh-huh.
and I like it. But so that could be a part of it too. It's just that someone could be really, really driven,
Uh-huh.
and so they kind of tend to miss out on really getting out there and find that person and taking that quality time to get
Uh-huh.
to know someone. And so I think that's part of it too. My thing is, I think I haven't been looking in the right places. I just started to get out
Ah.
and go to different networking events and go to
Uh-huh.
different meetup groups where I think that's a pretty good place to start. A lot of people say, "Oh, go to church. You find a good man," but
Please.
I'm telling you, honey, they kind of worse if you ask me, because it's just a lot of pretending if you ask me.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I think that has a lot to do with it.
So let me back up, ladies. What exactly are you all looking for in a black man?
You gonna go first?
Uh-oh. Sound
Because
like
I'll
you got a
go.
long list.
You know what? And I don't. And so, you know, really, I just want a man that first loves God, knows there's a God,
Uh-huh.
so that he can pretty much know how to treat me, and someone that knows how to love in a healthy way.
Uh-huh.
So someone that knows that he's the protector, the provider,
Mm-hmm.
and that knows that I am to be cherished and valued
Mm-hmm.
and honored as a woman. And to
Hmm.
me, I feel like that should be a given and that should be the norm and the standard,
Uh-huh.
but that's not what it is these days.
Uh-huh. So Wanda?
So true. Much like what she said, but also someone that can be a father figure, that is a role model, that has self confidence, like she
Mm-hmm.
was saying, because so many men do not have the confidence, and if they're not confident in themselves, then they
Mm-hmm.
cannot be supportive in a relationship, especially with a strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because being single for such a long time, I am used to being able to be confident and to provide for myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
need someone that can be there, that will not be overshadowed by my confidence, but have
Mm-hmm.
their own, and not being also intimidated by my confidence, but
Mm-hmm.
that we can work in a partnership to develop a relationship and grow.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in the African American community we have a lot of single parent homes, which the woman is the primary caregiver in the home? Do you think that the women are not providing their sons with the tools that they need in order to be a good partner in a relationship?
I don't know, many of the women that I know that are single parents that have young males,
Mm-hmm.
sons that they're raising, they also have a support network around them. And then sometimes that's the key ingredient, because
Mm-hmm.
even being raised as a single parent by a single parent, your mother cannot teach you how to be a man,
Right.
obviously. But if you don't have enough role models, strong male role models around the child to make sure that they can see, who to be like when they grow up,
Mm-hmm.
that can be a problem as well. Because if you don't have a man that already knows how to be a strong man, then they can't
Yeah,
teach someone else.
that's true.
Mhm.
What do you think, Des?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't have any sons myself, and I
Uh-huh.
don't have too many friends that have sons, so I can only kind of piggyback on what Sister Wanda said. But I would like to um, say that as far as raising a son, I always said if I ever had a son, I would not raise him in a situation where he could not cry. Because I see that sometimes. I've seen that a lot of men have been raised that way. Oh, don't cry, toughen up. You're you know,
Right.
you're a man, and that like kind of desensitizes them. I think you know, it's natural to cry. And I always said if I had a son, I would say, okay, go ahead and cry, go in your room, do whatever you got to do. When you finish crying, come out and let's talk about it. Because I think a lot of men. They have. I tend to see a lot of anger in men. I tend to see them not being able to communicate and express themselves well, and I think that's part of it. I really, really do. Unless, I mean, they have to be really educated to, you know, be able to articulate and speak well. But for the most part, you know, I find that even some of those type of men.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, I think men should learn at an early age how to get in touch with their feelings, because you have feelings. I don't care if you're a man, you know? So,
That's a good point.
yeah.
I want to ask you all, do you think that maybe as black women our expectations for a ideal mate are too high?
No, if you don't have expectations, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And you don't want to be with someone that cannot at least match your qualities or bring more to the table. I'm not going to talk to a guy or be in a relationship with a guy that cannot bring more to the table, or at least have the drive to want to achieve more. I will not necessarily walk away from a guy if he's still in school or you know, trying to become something better. I'm not going to judge him for that, but he has to have the ability and the drive to want to. I can do bad by myself, like the Tyler Perry movie. I don't want to bring someone else into a relationship that's going to bring me down. I want someone that's going to help me to continue to stay strong and to encourage me to do better and be, you know, the best me that I can be, and I'll do the same for that person as well.
Okay, Des, your turn.
I totally agree. I totally agree with everything that she said. You know, been there, done that. And so I've learned whatever lessons I've learned, and I just know, yeah, I mean, you definitely, I have a lot of drive. You're going to need a lot of drive. You know, because it's just not going to work, because I'll be sitting around like, what you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just, you know, meet me halfway, and we can grow from there. You don't necessarily have to have more. You know, I'm not the gold digging type of person. As a matter of fact, I'll get in there and get dirty with you and make sure that we're building and we're growing together. So, yeah.
So with that, ladies, let's take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about this, because I think you all have a lot that you can bring to the table about this dating today. Okay?
All right.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at fatherhood.gov.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Betty. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with Wanda and
Des.
Des. And we're talking about the challenges of dating as professional African Americans. So we talked about the expectations that we have for men, and that they're really not that high, because as far as I'm concerned, if you don't have what I have, you can just keep it moving. You know, I don't have time. I'm too old to try to help somebody else. I got to get there too. But I want to ask you all, do you think that maybe we expect too much? Because a lot of us, and I'm not talking about me, or one, I think you were raised in a two-parent home, right?
Yes.
Were you, Des? Well, for those that weren't, do you think that maybe we expect more from men because they didn't see it in the black families, black single homes?
I think, growing up, even the people that I knew, even the guys that I knew that were growing up with a single mom or single parent family, they had so many other people in the neighborhood that they were close to. Like, they either had, everybody had the house that everybody hung out at, and usually that house was a two-parent home. So even if they didn't see an example at home, they had somewhere else to draw from, and other examples to pull from, especially if they were involved in church as well.
What about the little girls growing up in a single parent home?
I'm sure that each child is affected differently. I know that with my girls, they miss having their dad there. That's important to them, and I try to do as much as I can to, make up for that. But I cannot replace an absent parent. I just cannot. We do have, other parts of our family members that step up to the plate and spend time with them and talk to them and encourage them, and they have adopted like family members that will also be there if they have someone they want to ask a question about, or but you can never replace that absent parent. So whether it's a young lady missing her dad or a young guy missing his mom, you cannot replace that. But what you can do is try to make sure that you're giving them enough opportunity to find outlets, people that they can talk to openly, whether it's the parent. And with me, I encourage my daughters to find like a mentor that they can talk to openly, so they can discuss that, because there's things I'm sure that they want to talk about that they can't talk to me about, but I've made sure that we have a support network available for them if they have any questions, that they can get that portion that they need as far as someone asks questions of.
What about you, Des?
I want to make sure I understood your question. Are you saying with me and Wanda having been grown up in a two-parent household, you're asking if we're expecting more from guys that?
Yes, that's part of the question. But do you think that if you, by chance, were to grow up in a single-family home, do you think that those girls expect more out of men because they don't have that man there, and they're expecting the man to do everything that the mother could not do because they never saw what a man brings to the household?
Well, I guess, in some ways that could happen. Like, I'm a single parent. I have two girls at home. And they spend time with their dad, so they get to see their dad, although we're not living together, they do get to see both sides. My thing is I just try to, instill in my girls what type of man you should want to be with, and how a man should treat you, and what a man would or I would expect him to do in a household, so that when I do find someone, that's what they see. They see that example that I've been telling them that should be there.
So tell me, ladies, let's switch subject to something kind of light and funny.
Okay.
Let's talk about social media.
Okay.
How has that impacted the dating, and how has that changed the way that we date today?
Des, you want to take that one?
I think it's quite interesting. I think it's so funny that you say that, because my sister has a website called Jafube, is an acronym, but the name is Just Friends with Benefits. And to be honest with you, the company has nothing to do with really dating or anything like that. It is more of a social media site to connect business owners and consumers. But because we knew people were like, oh, we're just saying just friends. That's why we put just in front of it. Like, just keep it friendly or platonic. But because we knew it would be a throw on the words and everything, there's like a little dating site there. So I told my sister, I said, look, people want to throw up old pictures of themselves. They don't look the same, And I said, let's make sure that we have video chat so that we can really see what this person looks like. So, yeah. So that's the biggest thing with me. It's like, come on now. Don't throw up pictures.
Yeah,
of,
your high
you
school
know.
picture. No.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's be real here.
What do you think, Wanda?
I don't know, but like she was saying, a lot of people go onto those dating sites and they're coming for different things. And either they're being, untruthful and trying to, put a sheet across the page and not really let you know who they truly are, and you don't really know who you're talking to, or they're going for the wrong reasons. It's just, some perverted guy trying to meet a girl they think might be desperate. And I just have not looked into that. My children keep trying to get me to go onto those different sites, the dating sites like eHarmony or whatever, but I don't want to try that because I'd rather meet a person the normal way. I do have a couple friends that met through a dating service, and they've been together and they've gotten married, have a child, and it worked out perfect for them. And not saying it doesn't work for some. I just don't believe that would be something I would want to do because so many people now are crazy. Some people use those social networking sites to start second relationships. They might be married and they're trying to find a second relationship, and you may not know, may not find out, and then there could be some strange consequences behind that. So I personally don't trust the dating services. I mean, that's not to say they don't work for someone. I just don't want to try it.
Yeah.
In 2010, Essence Magazine said that African American women, they aren't really successful when it comes to online dating. And that was 2010. And
Well, it seems like we're not successful at anything with this whole dating thing.
Yeah.
Like, really? Seriously?
yeah. So why do you think that's so?
Whoa.
We might be a little more skeptical and withdrawn because
Yeah, we want to make sure everything is straight. Like, okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna put all my business out there, and just let people know who I am right off. Especially when I first meet someone, I'm not gonna let them know I have children because I want to kind of get a feel for who they are and what's going on with them. So I'm gonna go real slow. So that could be part of why it doesn't work online because you can't give but so much online.
So you have kids, and so if you were to meet a guy today, how long would it take for him to come to your house?
A very long time. No one knows what a Batcave is. I'm sorry. That takes a very long time, and it takes time to build that trust. Would have to meet away like coffee shop. First meeting usually probably like a coffee shop. So if I don't like the person, I got a quick, get away. Then it goes from there. But they would not go to my house for a very, very, very long time, and not going to meet my children for an extremely long time. It's just, I'd say, when I say a long time, maybe a couple months at least, because I have to kind of get to know the person and see them in different situations and talk to them on the phone and, just get their vibe and make sure that it's a good fit first before I even involve my children, because I don't want them to see me talking to a whole bunch of different guys and they're like, what's going on, because, it takes at least 3 or 4 months for you to really kind of start seeing the true nature of a person.
That's true. Is that the same for you, Des?
Absolutely. Now, I think each person is different, so I can't say, I have to wait 6 months or I have to wait 3 months. But I think, you get a really good feel for who you're dealing with. I've been dating a person for about 4 months. They don't interact with my kids. I don't let them interact with my kids or anything like that. They met them briefly like a couple of times because I had to pick them up and do a favor for them. But it's just like, oh, this is mommy's friend. It's nothing like I'm dating or whatever, because I want to make sure that person is going to be in my children's life. Like, they're going to be there for a while before I even introduce them. Because like I said, been there, done that, learned my mistakes from that as well. Now, if I feel a little leery, that person probably won't come to my house for a while. And I do get people checked out too. I do background checks.
Wow.
Yeah, I've started doing background checks because of some situations that I've gotten into. And I have a best friend that's a male, and he said, you know what, we doing background checks from now on.
Okay.
I said, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, because you never know
just
when you
never
meet
know.
someone,
Yeah.
whether they're on the up or
Google.
up or not.
I will go
I-
and Google and look on the
I pay for the whole thing. What's your name? What's your middle name? Really? I get all the information. Then I'm like, here, go ahead, do the check. Let me know if we straight. Yeah.
So, ladies, how do you think our television shows have influenced the way we date today? Like, there's a ton of reality shows out there, and all these other, even
I know.
sitcoms and dramas, they really don't show us in a positive light with dating.
And a lot of it's unreal, but so many people are just sort of grasping to it because, I mean, if you think about, like, you know, my grandparents were married for 66 years. And, you know, their world when they met, when they started dating and courting was totally different from now. Like, you know, back in the days, they would say you couldn't even hold hands in front of older people. And now people kind of meet and then next thing you know, it's like, and on TV, they're showing these people, you know, of course the time frame is a little changed on TV, but it's almost like the way it appears. They meet, the next week they're dating, the next week they're, you know, and it's like, you know, how that is not a good example for our young people that's watching TV. It's not a good example for adults watching TV because it just messes up the whole idea of courtship. I mean, I think courtship has kind of gone away.
It really has.
You know, where you really take that time to get to know the person and just take it slow. So TV has really fast forwarded, like microwaved relationships and makes it look, ta-da, great. But if people take a closer look at some of the relationships that they show on TV, they'll see that the celebrities, they're kind of like they get married and the next month they're divorced.
This
and
is
then
true.
4 months later they're married pregnant or pregnant, you know. So it's not a good example of how relationships should be.
How do you think it makes us look as black women, though?
It doesn't give us a good light. But of course, you know, any woman, because any woman
Yeah,
portrayed on
that's true.
TV is just not giving them a good light, I feel. And even some of the males, because it shows them, some of the guys is domineering, or that some of the women like guys that are maybe a little aggressive and violent, like on the Atlanta show. I don't understand why everybody likes that little dude. I just don't get it. Scrappy or...
Now,
Oh
you
my
know
God.
what? I don't like to promote stuff like that, but I watch it because it's almost like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's almost like unreal. It's like entertainment. It's like really.
And you're
this
talking
is
to the TV at the women like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
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 So
And they know each other on the show, and that they're both. And I'm like, what? So that, I think shows like that give women a very bad name and make guys think that, you know, we're superficial, that we'll fall for anything, that we'll believe anything, and that's not true. It's not.
and now we're in the age where guys think that they should have more than one woman too.
Yeah.
So and they say that it's always been that way, but now it's just out in the public. But I think I'd rather be by myself if that's the case, because I can't control. I don't know how another woman takes care of their body. I don't know what they're doing when I'm not around. I'm not going to trust my body to my man that's going to be with someone else. I don't know who she with, and then she going to be with someone else, and then when she doesn't get the attention she want, you know, it's just like, come on, who got time for all of
Yeah.
that? What happened to real, true love, building a friendship, making a connection, you know, and growing together, and leaving behind a really strong, beautiful legacy? What happened to that?
Yeah, what happened? We're gonna
It's
take
disappointing.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I got one last question for both of you. Okay?
Okay.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump.
We roll it out.
Cause we know how to skate.
We'll cut it down.
Cause we know what to eat.
We'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier. Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
Back to Betty. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with Des and Wanda, and we're talking about being black and dating. So, ladies, one last question for you. Of all your relationships, can you remember one where it ended badly or was bad? Or, I'm not talking about your marriage, if you were married and divorced.
Do you see that?
But we only need one.
And I've only had one that ended badly, because I'm not the type of person that burn bridges at all. I believe that I do know how to truly love someone and love in a healthy way. So if it comes to a point where, you know, we just decide that we're not going to be together, I'm not going to hate you. I'm going to still love you, because I truly do love you and I want your happiness. So even if you're not with me, I want you to be happy. And pretty much all but one relationship that I've had, I'm like that with everyone that I could call anybody that I've been with now, and they'll bend over backwards and do anything for me. Or I could pick up the phone and talk to them and be like, we were talking like yesterday, but it's years ago. But yeah, there's just one that ended pretty badly. And it happens to be the father of my children.
Oh. So, Wanda, how about you? Just share one. I'm sure you have many.
I don't have many. Gosh.
Just one.
I can think of one that it ended. We were cool, and he was a really great guy. I liked him a lot. But when he met my children, he said something to my daughter that I did not like. So for me, that was what made it end badly. And it may not have been meant the way he said it, but like I said, I'm very protective of my children. That was the first time he had met my children. And for him to say something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, it's like it immediately took me to, in that movie, Tyler Perry movie, I Could Do Bad About Myself, where the guy was like, with the little girl, you want some candy? It, to me, it just kind of had that vibe, and it may have been misconstrued, but I don't take things lightly. When I see them or if I feel them with that mother's intuition, I don't ignore that. So because of that, it ended. And he was upset about it because he was like, it wasn't the way I meant it. You know, I have a child. I would never, you know, do that. But to me, that was the straw that broke. That it had to end.
You know, ladies, I am truly out of time, and I have a lot more questions I want to ask you too. But will you promise you'll come back if I get some guys up here?
All right.
Now, don't beat them up. We're going to just talk, okay?
Okay.
You promise you'll come back?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my show, Better Here. You're on Public Access